So what we have here is a factory OEM original Toyota part. It is the front actuator. This came off of my one owner car that I still have. It's a Toyota Sequoia 2005 Limited. Issues I were having was switching between two-wheel and four-wheel drive, and particularly going from four-wheel to back to two. The flashing light syndrome. So no matter if I put it into neutral, reverse, or any of those things. So my vehicle actually is very, very low miles. It's again 2005, 70,000 miles when I started having issues with this. So anyway, the attempt to fix it story has been very, very long and painful. What I did is I called AutoZone and I got a Dorman aftermarket, very popular aftermarket manufacturer. Went home to try to put this in myself. It was very difficult to reach the top two of the four mounting bolts. And so I reluctantly took it into a local automotive chain, and they did the swap. They actually went out and sourced the Dorman itself, and Dorman part, however you say it. And basically, I picked it up about 2 hours later. It was about an hour worth of labor, and came out to just under $500 with taxes. And sure enough, no improvements. So from there, I brought it back in for a whole day of diagnostics. They spent 5 hours on it, and so they say, and said that they tested all the wiring and sensors on the rear actuator, ECU, everything. I don't think that they did. And basically came up with no positive recommendation except for, quote, you should probably just replace the rear actuator. We're fairly certain that's what it is. Well, of course, it's $2,000 to $2,500, upwards of, I think, $3,000 all in with taxes. And most people on the forums had said, absolutely do not just go that route because it's the most expensive fix. And lo and behold, that's what they suggested, even though they could not pinpoint that the rear actuator was in fact bad. So just really sad. Anyway, I took it to the local transmission expert, which I should have done in the first place. A shout out to J&M in T, South Dakota. And within 1 hour, they had properly diagnosed that the new replacement Dorman front actuator was bad, and they deducted that through multiple tests, and then ultimately putting a brand new actuator and then testing it, and it worked fine. So I am basically in the process of going back to the original group, which they warranty the parts and labor, and they are going to put in a OEM factory Toyota part. And I'm sure once they do that this Friday, everything will be well. Sad to say is that somebody did a whole video that documented this exact same situation. Maybe post that down in the link. Where in short, if you need to replace the front actuator, do yourself a favor, get the OEM part, spend the money, do it right, because these Dorman parts are junk for the actuator replacement. So what I'm going to do here eventually is crack this thing open and show you what mine looks like. Interestingly enough, the hose, the vacuum hose that isn't really a vacuum hose, is just an air drainage hose that mounts right here, was not torn and looked to be in pretty good shape. So I'm curious as to how any moisture or water would get into here, but as others have shown, it does happen, and then it does a multitude of things, including seizing up the brushless motor that's inside here. So yeah, there you go. So I'll open this thing up and continue on.